It's the time for the package from China. Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at something I think is pretty damn interesting. I'm always searching for an interesting product from AliExpress, and this can be something that is interesting because it's cheap and what can we play. So what we're going to get inside the box is your typical, let's say, configuration. But the first thing I was noticing is like we do have like the all famous the top controller. And this is like one of my favorite controllers because they look kind of a PlayStation 4. They're very comfortable. They come with a turbo built in, and we do have like a very nice D-pad and some crazy good analog sticks. And I mean like especially the way how comfortable they are. So this is a mini PC with an interesting, let's say, price. Normally you're also going to pay a shitload of money when you're going to get yourself a kit complete with everything. Let's say Botacera hard drive, and when you're having like the controllers included. The case itself is also very interesting. It weighs quite heavy, and then we do get the power supply itself, and just a 12-volt 3 amp. Specification wise, this is not like a super high-end PC. And when you're looking into the other ones I've reviewed here on the channel, you can see all kinds of different specification wise, but when you're going to get like some quite beefy specs, we're going to get like a huge price tag. And I was just searching, or better said, I came across this thing, was thinking, hey, it's not like the most powerful CPU you can get out there, but what can you actually expect from something like this? Wi-Fi antennas, one at the left and one at the right. I must say, like, where are the freaking... Oh, there are the Wi-Fi antennas. I was thinking, where are they? Like, we're going to get these tiny Wi-Fi antennas that we need to attach ourselves. And at the front, we're going to get ourselves the on and off switch, an input for a microphone and headphone. And then we have like a weird configuration of 4 USB ports at the front, where like 3 were like 2.0 and 1 is 3.0. But unfortunately, there were no extra USB ports at the back. We're going to get 2 RJ45 Ethernet connections, VGA, HDMI out, and the input for the power supply. I already shown you before that it was like a 3 amp 12 volt. But let's connect it to the television. Let's go. You need to take consideration, because this is a low power chip, we're not going to get miracles when it comes to emulation performance. So to support with Botacera, we can play up to Xbox Classic if you want to, but of course this thing is not powerful enough, so we're going to do a little bit of testing just to see how far we can push it and what can we able to play with it. You're going to pay a little bit more than with your typical Android box or Super Console X King, for example, what we're going to talk about later. And the question remains, is this thing worth picking up, and is it worth maybe upgrading from something else? So that we're going to find out, but you can see where we do have like a lot of systems, but again, don't expect miracles with this. So let's start off with some basic games. 8-bit, 16-bit runs perfectly on this, no problem whatsoever. But again, I just wanted to implement it in the video, and I love this game. I don't notice any input lag whatsoever when it comes to the games. So next up, let's try some N64. I just want to test it out. Like, I've noticed like with Botacera do have like some overall better performance, depending on what kind of emulator you're running. You do see some glitches. Let's see if we can even play the game, because with Android this is absolutely unplayable. So besides the minor glitches, so far so good. Yeah, there is. There are the slowdowns. Okay, let's try a different game, and the reason why I just want to make sure how the performance in overall is. So when you're going to get into the Botacera with PCs, we're expecting to get a little bit better performance, but still we do have like the same glitching going on. It's even worse now with freaking Cruise in the USA. Oh boy, this is not great. And this is basically like the limitation what you're going to get with a cheaper chip, or better said like an older PC. So unfortunate, maybe with some meshing you can get it better, but it doesn't really work that great. You can see slowdowns whatsoever. Alright, so next up let's try some GameCube. We're going to start off with a 2-dimensional game, because they are less demanding, and just wanted to see what can we able to play in this. Okay, so next up I wanted to try some racing game Automobilista, just a 3-dimensional game. So to give you like an idea like what can you play or not play on this. And I can tell you already from the menu start, it doesn't look very promising. We have tried GameCube on so many cheap devices, but it is not like able to play every single game. But again, therefore it's a budget product. Take consideration that a lot of emulated devices doesn't even support GameCube. A shitload of slowdowns. So GameCube for 2-dimensional games, it runs okay, most part, but the 3-dimensional games are absolutely unplayable. And the same thing is for Wii. It's all fun and game that they like try to implement it in stuff like this, like these mini PCs, but it doesn't really work. Like even the freaking intro is like lagging, and I can tell you when you get into the game it's not going to be any better. So unfortunate, I think up to the maximum with some GameCube 2-dimensional stuff, but beside that, it doesn't run great on it. Alright, so let's try a little bit of Sega Naomi, just to see how it runs on a cheap machine like this. Yeah, you can hear some hiccups. Quite unfortunate that it runs not perfectly. And even like when it jumps into the area, you can just see it stutter. So let's see how it runs out of the box. I'm very curious how it will work. Yeah, so this is absolutely unplayable. You can see like it stutters like crazy. So the next thing I'm going to do is reset and going back into the main menu just to see if we can get into the advanced options. Let's get into the advanced options, see the emulator what's running on. So what we can try is try to be the Yaba Shanshiro. We're going to mess around with this just to see if we can basically get a better result with this. So basically we had 3 options. Yabashishiro didn't do anything, didn't boot up the game. This is Chronos. It lags like crazy, so when it comes to Sega Saturn, we're not going to get a great performance there. Okay, so next up I want to try some Sega Saturn itself. Just see if it runs okay on this. I hope it should be. Because nowadays we have like so many boxes that are like cheaper and I can play this. I wouldn't even be afraid to upscale it a little bit. But let's try it as is. So far I can see no glitching whatsoever. PlayStation is a system that runs on many boxes nowadays, but I still want to check it out in this particular box just to see if it runs okay. Of course, we're just going to take a close look at this Bloody Roar 2, just a benchmark game, just to see if it's going to be running okay, if everything has been configured correctly, because that can also be an issue.
Here we go. Get ready.
But so far so good. Minor hiccup, but nothing not really something to worry about. So basically PlayStation was like the system I would really love to see working on this, but yeah, I do have like the very like slow old CPU inside. There's not going to be in great performance in overall. So let's try a different game. You will see that it still has like the same problems. So in my opinion, PlayStation 2 is just unplayable. The only thing that we can do basically is going back to the main menu this time. Going into the special settings with the advanced game options. So there is not a lot of stuff we can basically change out. The only thing I can do is that we're going to have like say in skip draw hack. So the skip frames to improve this of the performance so smoother. So even with some implementing of frame skipping, We do have slightly better performance, but I'll be honest, like, it still glitches, have a lot of issues whatsoever. But it's still not possible to play like this. So PlayStation 2 is, in my opinion, absolutely off the table when it comes to this. Okay, kinda weird maybe to benchmark, but I just wanted to see what happens if you're going to play the Metal Slug Collection for the PlayStation Portable. I did have like a lot of issues, a lot of games didn't even boot up, or we got some weird glitches going on. But again, like, this is not really a big demanding game. After some messing around, I did manage to get another game working, just to see how this will work. The overall performance is way better than I've seen before when you're looking at an Android box. So it's quite a surprise. But don't get me wrong, God of War will not run perfectly on a cheap box like this. So what is a hit or miss with Emulation and of course these cheap Android boxes? We do have the option to play some more MAME games on this mini PC. So also if you want to get into some different games, we do have some better performance. Oh crap. Oh, yeah! I was getting out of the situation. Nope, you missed me. Ah, crap. There goes my perfect. But let's take a close look in the inside. I must say the shell in general, I really like it because it's made out of metal and you can just feel while holding it. It very like consumes the heat and just gives it an amazing cooling. So when it comes to the cooling in general, I am really satisfied. So let's get the last two screws out. And oh man, I've never seen those long screws. I've never seen those before. Okay, so what you can see that there's kind of interesting the construction. Is it me or is there no cooling whatsoever when it comes to active cooling? So this thing comes with a hard drive both in. So that is where basically Batocera is located on. It seems to be in Toshiba 2 terabyte. You can replace it fairly easy. You can see there were like the other 4 screws for. I was already like, I'm not saying knowing it, but I had an idea that was that. You have like the Wi-Fi unit. But this thing only has an option for a single slot RAM. That's a little bit of a bummer if you ask me. So they were using Kingston in here, like Kingston 4 GB. Yep, there it is. So you can upgrade it, doesn't like give you like a big performance boost, but in the end it's just a very cheap device. Quite interesting to see what you're going to get in the inside. And of course Wicked wants to disassemble everything. Just see what we're going to find underneath the name board, and let's be naughty and get the screw out. Yep, and I broke the seal. Yeah, the warranty is already over, so my dispute on AliExpress over, so it doesn't matter. Alright, I think I did get most away. Okay, so I think I can pull out the main board. See if there's any like movement in here. I'm just going to leave these antennas just where it is. I don't want to get rid of them. But a quite interesting case. So basically you can basically flip these out over here. And when you remove it, we will see the cooling method or cooling block over here, because here we can also find the CPU, and holy crap, they go all white with the thermal paste. So yeah, so this is absolutely something crazy. So yeah, I already said like the G8000, that is basically like the version they're having over here. They did assemble it, and I think they did assembly of this year. You can see it over here with the sticker. So he did put like a completely new seal. Here like 2022 now. So there's not a lot of information beside that. But this is basically what we're going to get in the inside. So there's no active cooling. So far I can see there's this very big metal plate, some thermal paste over here. So let's put everything back together. But the conclusion is that it is a quite interesting piece of technology for not a lot of money. But we do have so many limitations. And then is the question, is it really worth it? Yeah, in my opinion, not really. Especially when you're looking at the PlayStation 2 emulation. I really love the case itself, like this passive cooled case, absolutely amazing. But the downside I find is just we do have so many platforms that don't run perfectly. GameCube, we tested it out, but you did see two-dimensional games are playable, but three-dimensional out of the question. So yeah, what are you going to be getting extra? That is the question. And is it worth the extra money? I want to thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what do you think of this. I still got some stickers on my hand. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, and it will be great to see you in the next video.